now say they are looking for not one, but two suspects in the murder of an armored car guard in Old East Dallas.
Security guard news. I'm Jay Gutierrez. We lost 2 security guards in the last few days. We're going to talk about both of these stories. I'm going to use some clips online, do some editing, and then give my commentary as well. The purpose of this video is to help security guards realize the truth of the job. It's not always going to be easy. It can get dangerous, and that you are responsible for keeping yourself safe almost 90% of the time. I want to say another 10% is just bad luck, right? The first story is about Shadarian Jacobs. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name correctly. And the second story is about David Rubach. This video is not meant to talk down on these guards whatsoever. I really feel that when I do these videos, it's meant to honor them because we give their story to other guards. And other guards sometimes don't know that security personnel die or are killed or have accidents while on the job. And they think that, you know, everything is just rainbow and an easy check, and then, you know, something like this happens and they're not ready for it. I want to stop guards from falling asleep, from slacking on the training, and just be overall better sentinels. The following story is a short one. It's still in development, and I'm showing it because sometimes we can just be unlucky, and that's what I think is the case here with Mr. Jacob.
New developments now in the search for suspects wanted in the deadly shooting of a security guard in Midtown Atlanta. They say bullets started flying when someone tried to stop a group of suspected car thieves. A bullet hit 33-year-old Shadarian Jacobs as he took his lunch break in a nearby parking garage. Atlanta police released these new pictures of suspects. They're accused in the August 28th shooting at Spring Street and 3rd Street. Police.
So this reminds me of 2 stories of people that were unlucky as security guards. One is of a security guard that was working in a parking lot and he was in his booth. A truck just ran over him. One of those big trucks, right? This was out of his control. No training could prepare you for that as far as I'm aware. And then there was another incident with a female security guard. It was late at night. She was on her way to work. She was at a gas station. She was filling up her car. And a couple of kids roll up on her trying to carjack her. They see her wearing a uniform and they confused her for a cop, and they shot her and killed her because they were like, oh, this is a cop who we're trying to carjack, we're gonna get arrested, we're gonna maybe get shot, whatever. I'm not justifying what these kids did, by the way. I'm just saying that this is the reality. Sometimes there's things out of our control, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen from time to time. Again, Mr. Jacob got shot from a stray bullet. That's what the story says at the moment. He was 33 at the time, and this happened during his lunch break. The second story happened in Dallas, right? It had to do with armed security, and it's a really good story in the sense that it helps remind you, if you're armed security, you're protecting something of great value. I'm not diminishing the jobs of other security guards, because as an unarmed security guard, I would protect millions in jewelry, in retail, right? In exhibitions, and but when it comes to things like armored truck security, this happens several times a year. And if you are thinking about becoming an armed security truck driver or a transporter, you need to watch your six. You need to be aware of everything at all times.
Now say they are looking for not one, but two suspects in the murder of an armored car guard in Old East Dallas. Dallas police released surveillance images of the suspects during the incident Friday outside Big Jim's check cashing store on South Carroll Avenue near Main Street.
Blake, Dallas police released the photos of those 2 armed suspects, and they're hoping that someone can help identify them. We spoke to the girlfriend of the guard who was killed, and she wants people to remember him. On Friday, September 1st, 2 Garda World security employees were delivering cash to a check cashing store. The store is located on South Carroll Avenue in the Baylor Meadows neighborhood east of downtown Dallas. Dallas police say around 9:30 a.m., one of the guards, 52-year-old David Rubach, went to the back of the store. He was met by an armed suspect who shot him. Dallas police released these surveillance photos of two armed suspects. The suspects are wearing black armor gear and carrying long rifles. There is also a white four-door sedan in the photos. The other guard wasn't hurt, but Rubak died at the hospital. Rubak worked as a security guard at Garda World for over 20 years. Ball says he took his job seriously, but when he wasn't in uniform, it was all about cracking jokes. Ball urges anyone who can help identify the suspects to come forward.
He had a life ahead of him. He had retirement plans that he was looking forward to doing, and none of that's going to happen now.
We want to show you those photos again. Take a look at your screen. These are the photos Dallas police released of the two armed suspects and also the white car police believe they were driving in. If you know anything about the shooting or you have any information that could be helpful to the investigation, you're asked to call Dallas police, or you can always share a tip anonymously through Crime Stoppers.
So guys, I was taking notes while watching this with you. This seemed like an ambush. I'm no detective, I'm no investigator. I wasn't there, but based on what I can see on this video, this was an ambush. How do I know? How do I come with that conclusion? Well, these guys were suited and booted. They had what it seemed to me to be tactical vests on, possibly a plate carrier. There was two guys. It wasn't one, it was two guys. They were ready. If they were ready, this means this was planned. Maybe they were gonna it could possibly be that they were gonna go into the store and rob the place, or it could be that they knew that this armored truck was coming on this day and that time. One of the biggest killers of security guards and law enforcement is the ambush. Doing a counter strike is really, really hard. Doing a counter ambush is super hard. You have to be hyper vigilant. You have to, switch up your strategies, your patrol strategies, often. Like for example, if you're an armored truck and you just go directly to the parking spot and you're gonna, exchange the money and sign some paperwork, and that's what you do all the time, people can see that. They'll start talking and say, hey, Garda does this. I'm not saying this is what happened in this situation. So that means that every once in a while, you might want to come on a Thursday instead of a Tuesday to do the exchange. Or if you have to do it on a Tuesday, you might go around the block twice instead of just once. Like little things like that you can do. Now, nothing's 100%. You don't have 100% protection in anything. But that's why I said, counter strikes, counter ambushes, they're really hard. And that's one of the biggest killers of security because they got the shock. They got the shock and awe to their advantage. While your mind is still processing that something's happening, you're already on the floor. You're like, what happened? And this is very unfortunate. Guys, my condolences to these two families, to Mr. Jacobs' family and Mr. Rubach's family. The reason I make this video is to honor these guys, man. Like I don't know them, but the security guard field has to recognize that this can happen. And we forget, and we get soft, we get weak, we become complacent, and we become our own worst enemy. I'm not saying this will happen to these guys, please understand. And sometimes I do get the family members saying, that they'll come to this channel and they'll get angry at me. Maybe I mispronounced the name incorrectly, or maybe there's just straight up grief that they have. They want to fight with somebody, they have nobody to fight, and they see me. Guys, if you found value in this video, press like, leaving a comment down below saying rest in peace or something, or just saying thank you. Subscribe if you haven't to this channel yet. The purpose of this channel is just to overall help the security guard community. And that's it. Take care of yourself, get some training or some real PPE, and ciao. Lo quiero mucho.